Today, we are pulling back the curtain on this massive, basically invisible system that feeds our entire planet, modern industrial agriculture. It's a world that is so far removed from the storybook farm, operating on a scale and with a precision that, honestly, might just blow your mind.
So when you picture a farm, what do you see? Probably a lone farmer on a tractor, right? Maybe some fields of golden wheat. Well, it's probably time to update that image. The reality of how we get our food today is this incredible story of technology, engineering, and just immense industrial power. Let's see just how deep this rabbit hole really goes.
Our source material puts it perfectly. Nature has become a factory. We've completely shifted from working with the seasons in the soil to actively controlling them. We've built this vast production line that churns out everything from the vegetables on our plate to our Christmas trees.
Okay, so to really understand this great green factory, we're going to take a little tour of the assembly line. First, we'll look at how nature itself was transformed. Then, we'll see how we're engineering life itself. After that, we'll witness the rise of the machines, go on a race against time with perishable goods, and finally, we'll follow the global conveyor belt that brings it all to us.
So let's start with this fundamental shift. And look, this isn't just about making farms bigger. It's a complete change in philosophy, from cooperating with the natural world to imposing a kind of industrial logic right on top of it.
So on one side, you've got the old way. You follow nature's lead, you rely on manual labor. But on the other, you have the modern model, and it is all about absolute control, massive mechanization, and operating on a scale that can literally dwarf entire cities. This, right here, is the new reality of farming.
But that industrial control, it doesn't just stop with the land and the weather. Oh no. We are now reprogramming the very biology of the plants and the animals inside the system.
And this is where it gets really fascinating. We're talking about pheasants, once wild birds, now hatched in incubators, raised under completely computer-controlled conditions. Or get this, crocodiles, farmed for luxury fashion in concrete ponds, with their diets managed so precisely that they're even fed watermelons just to stay hydrated. Even flowers aren't left to nature. Lily bulbs are tricked with these cold treatments to bloom exactly when the market demands them.
So this isn't really just farming anymore. Our source material calls it biological deception. It is the active manipulation of life cycles purely for commercial gain, convincing a lily that winter is already past so it blooms for a holiday, or managing a crocodile's entire existence in a completely artificial world. This is nature, but it's nature on a schedule.
Now, to manage life on this kind of industrial scale, you need a lot more than clever biology. You need raw power. And that brings us to the machines, the absolute titans of the field that make this whole operation even possible.
And just to put this in perspective for you, some farms in North America are 5 times the size of New York City. At that scale, you can't rely on a few people with some hand tools. Manual labor isn't just inefficient anymore, it is physically impossible. And that is why the machines had to rise. And listen, these are not just tractors. We are talking about soybean combines that move in pre-programmed formations like a synchronized swimming team, tomato harvesters that literally swallow whole plants and just shake the fruit loose. There are machines designed to perfectly unearth these giant sweet potatoes, and others that just blast through a field of bell peppers using air jets to clean them. Every single crop has its own bespoke, high-tech solution.
Think about the sheer power here. A single soybean harvester can process up to 45 tons of crop in 1 hour. An operation that would have taken an entire community days to finish now happens in the time it takes you to watch your favorite TV show.
But of course, you can't just use brute force on everything. A lot of the foods we love are delicate, they spoil quickly, and this creates this frantic race against the clock, demanding even more specialized and sometimes surprisingly gentle solutions.
The methods here are just at 2 opposite ends of the spectrum. On one side, you have the incredible care taken for Japan's egg-of-the-sun mangoes, where each individual fruit gets its own little hammock, just waiting for that perfect moment of ripeness. And on the other, you have the tree shaker, a machine that violently vibrates a plum tree, making it rain down fruit in a matter of seconds. Both are super effective, just tailored perfectly to the product.
And that tree shaker, it isn't just for show. A single one of those machines can harvest up to 60 tons of plums in 1 day, turning an entire orchard into a non-stop assembly line. The efficiency is it's staggering.
So once they're harvested, the factory work really kicks into high gear. Let's just follow a bell pepper for a second. First, it's washed and precisely cored by razor-sharp blades. Then it's blanched in hot water, just a quick dip that locks in all the color and flavor.
From there, it goes into the can with a preservative solution, and finally, it's sterilized with high-pressure steam to make sure it has a long shelf life. Every single step is designed for maximum preservation. It's a totally seamless journey from the plant to your pantry.
So the harvest is in, the processing is done. But believe it or not, that's only half the battle. Getting these products across the country, or even across the world, brings us to our final section, the global conveyor belt.
And meeting this challenge is a monumental task. I mean, the logistics network that moves our food is one of the most complex systems on the entire planet. It has to be fast, it has to be efficient, and it has to be incredibly creative to get fresh products to us before nature takes its course. The solutions they've come up with are often just brilliant. In the Philippines, these massive banana bunches, weighing up to 50 kilograms each, are hung on a 20-kilometer cable car system that just glides them from the field to the factory. In remote forests, helicopters airlift pine trees to avoid damaging them. And in Thailand, farmers use canals as a natural conveyor belt for coconuts. It's all about finding the absolute smartest way to move the product. Of course, some of these conveyor belts move very, very slowly. A commercial pine tree, for instance, starts as just a single seedling. It'll grow for 7 to 15 years, being carefully shaped and pruned, before it's even considered for a Christmas tree. That's over a decade of work. This isn't a fast-paced crop, it is a long-term industrial investment, managed over years, not just a single season.
Pine resin tapping shows a totally different kind of efficiency. It's not about speed or volume at all. Each cut yields very little resin. An entire tree might only produce about 3 kilograms a year. The crucial point here is sustainability. This careful, precise method allows a single tree to be tapped for decades, turning it into a renewable resource. It's a long game, focused on lifespan over immediate output.
So, when you look at all this, the conclusion, based on our source material, is pretty unavoidable. The idyllic, small-scale farming that might exist in our imagination is, for all intents and purposes, a thing of the past, on a global scale. What's replaced it is this great green factory, an invisible, hyper-efficient, globe-spanning system built for one single purpose: to feed billions of people. It's the engine running in the background of all our daily lives, a marvel of engineering and logistics that we almost never get to see.
This great green factory has given us this incredible abundance, this incredible consistency. But as we continue to perfect this system, turning nature into a predictable production line, it really leaves us with a crucial question to think about. What are the trade-offs? What have we gained